Hi, welcome to the Improved Garage YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, please click the button. So, we've had the Mini for less than a week. Tomorrow will be a week. And I'm already making progress on it. So today I had the windows tinted. I went 20%. Well, the car had tinted windows when I picked it up, and the backs were light. They were like 35, and the fronts were super light. They were like 55, but they were peeling in a bunch of spots. There were some bubbles, some air, some this, some that. So I took the car to the guys that normally tint my windows, and I asked them to, do it up the way that I do up all of my other cars. So I had all the tint removed and installed new tint. I went 20% all the way around. So to give an idea of darkness, and just to kind of understand window tint and how it works. So the percentage that tint is rated in, so when you look at a 20% tint or a 35% tint or a 50% tint, the percentage is the amount of light that the tint allows through it. So if 20% tint allows 20% of the light that hits it to go through it. 35% allows 35% of the light to go through it. So a higher number means that it's lighter. A lower number is darker, so 5% would be like a limo tint. Now if you want to equate that darkness to something, an SUV, your average SUV like this Mercedes, comes from the factory with approximately 20% tint on the back. So if you do 20% on the two fronts of a car like this, which is what I did here, you can see that it matches front to back. Now that being said, the fronts are always going to appear a little bit lighter than the backs because the fronts have a windshield between them, and the windshield is going to allow light in, so it makes it look a little bit lighter than the backs do. That's just normal. When we're talking about the percentage when read by a light meter, or like something that a police officer would use to check the amount of tint that is on a vehicle, the thing that you need to understand is that glass from the factory, when you buy a car, glass has a certain amount of tint in it, even if it's clear glass like your windshield. So normal glass from the factory is somewhere around 70% light transmittance. So when you put a 20% film on a glass that's already 70%, your result is going to be somewhere around 14% of the actual light is allowed through. So 70% of 20%, that's where you get that number from. Now, as far as legality is concerned, I tinted for a number of years, and the laws in most states are purposefully ambiguous. So they state something along the lines of an officer approaching the vehicle needs to be able to see inside the front windows of a vehicle. Well, I'm not the officer, so I can't determine what they can or can't see. In my experience, I've been pulled over many times. I have never received a ticket or been asked to remove my tint. And I think that there are two key things that make it so that that doesn't happen. One, my cars are generally clean, nice, and the tint job looks good. It's not bubbling, it's not peeling, it's not purple, it's not red, it's normal tint that is clean and well applied. Number two is I am respectful to the officer at all times. So when I get pulled over, I roll down all of my windows, I put my hands on the wheel until they approach the vehicle. The idea is that an officer needs to be safe. They don't really care if your windows are tinted. They care that they get to go home to their family. So as long as you give them the ability to approach your vehicle in a safe manner, and they don't have to worry about the fact that they might walk past a darkened window and have somebody with a gun pointed at them, they generally are pretty understanding about the fact that you have tinted windows. They have tinted windows. I used to tint cops' cars all the time in a state where it was illegal. But I've never received a tint ticket, and I've been pulled over many times with tinted windows in states where it is illegal. So, what colors do I normally do? I normally do 20% on the sides, the backs, whatever. That's what I just did on the Mini. So this is 20% all the way around. 20%, 20%, 20%. And as you can see, the fronts look lighter than the backs. And the reason for that is because the windshield is allowing light through the front. On the windshield, I tend to do a 70% tint on the windshield. And remember, like I said, clear glass, the windshield glass, allows about 70% through. So when you're putting a 70% on top of a 70%, you end up with somewhere around 49% light transmittance, 7 times 7. There are two things to really understand there. One, I'm doing the windshield basically to knock down heat. It's the biggest piece of glass in most vehicles, so it allows a lot of light and heat through. So doing the 70% tint on top of the 70% glass allows me to knock down the heat that comes into the vehicle quite a bit. And then number two is, because of the angle and because of the tint, you will often see, if you're wearing polarized sunglasses, you will often see like these little reflections. Like if you wear polarized sunglasses and you look at the back of most vehicles, the back window, for example, you can see like these holograms or whatever. So if you have polarized sunglasses and you tint your windshield, it's probably going to bother your eyes. So my recommendation is that you either don't tint your windshield, or you don't wear sunglasses, or you have sunglasses that aren't polarized. One of those three things, because otherwise you'll end up with a headache. But you know, this car has the windshield tinted, and I drive it without sunglasses on a regular basis, and it doesn't bother me at all. I would prefer to be in that car without sunglasses than in a car with a windshield that's not tinted wearing my sunglasses. To be perfectly honest with you. It's that much better, that much cooler. So on the Mini, I will be doing the windshield. I haven't done it yet, and the reason that I didn't do it is because there's a really nice rock chip right smack dab in the middle of the windshield, and some smaller ones here and here and here. So I'm going to get the windshield replaced, just because, you know, it's $100 to replace the windshield on my insurance, and the you know, tint. I just don't want to tint the windshield and then replace it in a couple months anyway. So I'm just going to replace it now, tint the new windshield, and go from there. Now, let's say you're just getting your car tinted for the first time and you haven't tinted in the past, and you know, what should you expect? So there's a couple things that you should expect when you get your car back from a tinter. So one thing is there's going to be this blurriness. So I don't know if you can try to make it as visible as possible. Like you can see these kind of like bubbles and stuff like that. That's water that's underneath the tint. So the tint is a film. They use water to apply it, and there's water that's specifically like between the tint and the glass. That water will go away. It'll dry up. The tint is breathable, and it allows the water to kind of permeate through and dry, given some time in the sun. These dots on the edges will not come out perfect, but they'll usually look something like this when they're done. And the reason is this black dot is material that's physically applied on the glass, and it creates space between the glass and the tint in between the dots. There are some tricks that you can use to deal with that. We used to use an Elmer's glue stick, a clear glue stick, to kind of go over it and squeegee that out. And that would allow the dots to see a little bit better. You can also sand down the dots. Some people do that. You need to be careful not to scratch the glass, because that can look even worse. But you know, good tinters can usually deal with the dots, but they will tell you that the dots aren't going to look perfect. Some cars, like older Honda Accords, they have a huge dot matrix, you know, all the way across the top of the window, and those don't come out fantastic, but they can be done. So, you know, the blurriness will go away, and then the other thing is that you want to make sure that you clean any car that has an aftermarket tinted window, meaning that you went to a tint shop and they physically tinted it. You want to clean that with a glass cleaner that doesn't contain ammonia. So basically nothing that's blue, Windex, or you know, the standard glass cleaner that you would buy at your grocery store. You want to use something that is tint safe. Stoner Invisible Glass is probably my favorite. Chemical Guys makes one, Signature Series. It's green. That works pretty well. You know, there's a couple others out there that are, of course, tint safe. The glass cleaner will say right on the bottle that it's tint safe, and basically what that means is it doesn't contain ammonia, and ammonia will break down the tint over time, and that's how you end up with a car that has purple tint. Well, that's one of the ways. Another way is by buying a car that has cheap tint. But decent tint will not turn purple over time. Most tinters will give you a lifetime warranty on their tint, and most glass cleaners that are automotive based are going to be tint safe, like the Stoner Invisible glass. It says right on it, tint safe, bold letters. So that's something to look for. So that's really it. You know, I've had the car for about a week and I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to do a bunch of different things, line up a bunch of different videos, so you should see quite a bit of mini content coming. I've got a lot of things in the pipe. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Have a great day.